If you have seen some of my previous videos, you know that there are lots and lots of crazy things in Geometry Dash. You have very hard levels, incredibly long levels and so much more. But what are the limits of all these things? In this video I'll cover this and show you how nutty this game can truly get, since there are numbers that for sure will blow your mind. Enjoy the video. Let's start off with something all GD players have experienced: your game crashing. This is a very common occurrence and happens because of some bugs in the game or because you have installed way too many mods. But there is another very sneaky way. In the editor you can make a certain level crash with a combination of triggers that sum up a crash trigger. This trigger will crash anyone's game when someone pauses it, and it can be used to troll some streamers. But most of these combinations use hundreds of triggers. There is one combination though where you only need 3 triggers in order to crash someone's game. These 2 triggers try to loop themselves, but this is stopped with the stop trigger, which eventually leads to this crash. But the limits only have just gotten started. There are a lot of different icons in the game, each with different game modes attached to them. Some of these can be obtained by achieving something impressive, and some can be obtained by opening some chests. These chests consist out of Rooftop follow chests, gauntlet chests, treasure room chests, weekly demon chests and daily chests. So yeah, there are a lot of them, but how many can you actually obtain if you would open them on the perfect time? Let's start with the ones where no calculations are needed. The Rooftop ones, which consist out of 3 chests, the 15 gauntlet ones, the 250 treasure room chests and the single monster room chest, which brings us to a total of 270. And since the game is around 2000 days old, you can obtain 2000 of these golden chests and 12,000 of these wooden ones. By adding this all up together with all the 253 weekly ones, you can obtain 14,524 chests by having the perfect chest clicks, or whatever you want to call it. But right now I feel like I'm talking a bit fast, so let's take it a little slower. In Geometry Dash, of course. The slowest you can normally go is 1 time speed, and there is no question about it. But this is where bugs and glitches come in clutch. It's all about the bug that I mentioned in my previous video, where the player moves at 0 km per hour by using a glitch that can make you stay at the same X position. Something that I hadn't mentioned yet though is the fastest speed you can actually go, which normally is 1.85 times faster than the slowest speed, but this is wrong. You can actually go 5 times as fast by using a really high frames per second and something called the scroll speed bug. Your cube normally needs to rotate, but with this bug it can randomly speed up after getting far into a level with a high frame rate, because the game isn't just able to store your cube its values properly. However, it's now time to get back into some bigger numbers again. When beating a rated level you always get a couple of stars ranging from 1 to 10 based on their difficulty. But what would the max amount of stars be that you can ever get in the first year of playing GD? And believe me, the upcoming number will destroy the leaderboard in stars by a huge amount. First, we have to see how many levels from each difficulty are rated, which are these amounts that lead to a total of 100,098,140 stars. By adding these stars you can obtain in a different way, we reach 202,089 stars, which is a little under the current number 1 player spot. We are not done yet however, because in 1 year there are always new levels getting rated every day, which results in an extra 32,500 stars. So all you need to do in order to be the number 1 player is all this. It's as simple as that. Another really cool limit I discovered is the hardest jump in GD. You guys probably have all seen the world's hardest jump videos, but they don't even come close to be compared with this singular jump right here. This is a death jump, the world's actual hardest jump. When playing this beast of a level right here, it looks relatively simple, but after a couple of attempts you realize that this is not the case whatsoever. Even though this level only requires 1 jump, some might say this level is extreme demon difficulty because of you having 0.000005 seconds to click if you want to beat it. But instead of just a single jump, what about the limit of how hard a level can actually be in GD? The skill cap of players is increasing rapidly, from players beating Abyss of Darkness to beating some of the hardest levels in the game like VSC. But what if we made a level so hard that these players have no chance of beating this at all? You are probably thinking about some level where you need to click millions of times, but there's a better way which is actually possible for anyone who tries it, and this focuses mainly on luck. Silent Lock currently is one of the most impossible levels because of these 54 clicks. When clicking this object here you have a 50-50 chance of dying, which results in this level having more than 10 quintillion options. The part with all the choices is 14 seconds long, and the maximum length of a GD level is 773 seconds, so we can make this 55 times longer, resulting in a level with almost impossible odds. Before we get into the limit that breaks GD in the most crazy sort of way, let me talk about this one. The maximum amount of time that could possibly be spent in Geometry Dash. You guys have all spent a few hours on this game probably, and after a while you quit. But what if this would be completely different and the world would consist out of just robots playing GD? Well, the age of this game is 2010 days, and there are 7.7 billion people on this complicated Earth. If all these billions of people would play this game at exactly the same time, 24/7, they would not only be very lonely, but also have spent a really long time on this game. The exact time that would be spent is 42.69 billion years, which is around 1.3 quintillion seconds, which is nuts to think about. The final limit of Geometry Dash is basically unimaginable, believe me. It's about you misclicking in a certain way that has and probably never will happen in the entire lifespan of the world. This specific misclick is called void clicking. When you normally click, you have to hit your mouse by making contact between your finger and the mouse. But it apparently might be possible that all the atoms in your hand do something called quantum tunneling, where the atoms that form molecules go through a specific barrier, which makes it technically possible for your hand to completely move through the mouse. I hope you enjoyed the video and be sure to smash like and
subscribe.